Hello, you amazing people. You're listening to the Marketing and Coffee Podcast, the show that brings you the latest in marketing, especially in the UAE market, with your host, Lijo Etup.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing and Coffee podcast with Lijo. We are back with the second part of my conversation with Shibu on consumer experience in e-commerce. If you still haven't heard part one, I advise you to please go and hear that first. For all the listeners who did hear part one, welcome back. This is going to be fun and a lot of value is going to come at the end of it.
So the thing is, I personally, as a consumer, I'm just putting myself in that shoe of a consumer. If I'm at physical retail and somebody comes in the back and says that we want to buy this, I look at it as you don't try to sell to me. Okay, personal. But if I say also bought or recommendations online, I don't cringe. I don't, and I think me as a consumer, I end up buying more on recommendations online than if it was in physical retail, because I'm in my own space, I'm in my own private space, I'm deciding on my own rather than being prompted by individual. So I do not know, is it me or is it overall, but I think it's quite interesting that the amount of data that's out there right now of consumers, and the more closer you are to the data of that person, the most personal and personalized customization of the experiences that the consumer has. Going back to the example of, like, supposedly Alibaba's revenue is not selling the product, it is selling the recommendation engine and making sure that the entire advertising, going through the entire funnel, making sure that the consumer buys what they need more. Comes to a big question that I have in my mind. In this digital world, personalization using a lot of data is very key. People are not looking at general experiences. So what is the kind of impact that you have seen using of data for personalization of the experiences?
Lijo, you mentioned about the consumer experience and you mentioned about the recommendation engine. Yeah, I was looking at it and you mentioned about saying a customer also bought and how you would react. Similarly to the, also bought is one such thing. You also have the option, you've done your survey because you're much more confident. You've also gone to the reviews. You have the option of, you need to be convinced and comfortable that the product that you're buying is a good quality product, or the service that you're paying for, or the website that you're buying is trustworthy and reliable. So customer reviews are there on the website, which otherwise you would never have in offline. So that's another very important point I just thought of adding on to it. But coming back to your question of, you mentioned about, what you meant is that the benefits of using data in e-commerce. Have I got that right, Lijo?
Yeah, the data in e-commerce.
Okay, great. According to a study which was done by BARC, I think it was Business Application Research Center. Okay. Some numbers on the benefits of using big data. They say that it helps 69% cases, it helps to make better strategic decisions. Now, these are from an e-commerce business owner's perspective is what I'm saying. Improved control over operational processes, which we all strive to achieve. It's almost 54%.
Right.
And here comes the most important one, which you were discussing about a customer, a better understanding of the customer. In 52% cases, you're right. And of course, cost reduction is 47%. Now, as we scale up our e-commerce business, data becomes, I think, a very important part, because if you're running a business based on data, then you can regularly measure and improve upon the shopper analysis, the customer service, personalized customer service, which is what you just mentioned some time back, Lijo, provide more secure online payment processing, and of course, better target marketing or advertising. For example, let's look at the shopper analysis. It helps to create, I think, shopper profiles. You can create customer preferences. You can group customers together and say, these products are liked by this customer. What time do they shop? So I know that this customers come on this time. This is the time when my website is filled with customers. So I need to have all my offers going. These sort of offers should be going to this set of customers. With this information, I can decide when I want to organize a sale, what time do I have the promotion, or when I want to run my ads as well. So these are some very important aspects. One very interesting feature here is, which I would like to share with you, is I just shared some time back. Once we know that the time duration when customers come onto the website or the days, and there are some specific timings, and this is different for each website. I might see to it that, okay, there are some times which is generic for UAE. It could some say that 11 to 1 just before the lunch time or the drive time, people use it. But we have seen that 3 to 5 is the time when we had some very good transactions going on. And then again in the morning, you would be surprised. Some of the beauty orders which we used to get was late nights. We never realized it. It was after 11:30 and before 2 a.m. The orders were very high. And this is because of the data that we could gather. The second point I mentioned was in terms of the customer service as well. We all know the importance of customer service in e-commerce, right? And we are all aware of the challenges this has, because again, this can be misinterpreted. We have pampered to a certain extent. I think the customers have also been pampered, and we all try to pamper them even more when it comes to customer service, because we all try to retain customers. As much as it is important to bring in new customers, it's also equally important to retain the customers. Because we know that loyal customers spend up to 65 to 70% more than new customers, because by then you've achieved the reliability factor, the trust factor on your website. The people love the way in which the shopping experience, they know the products, they know your service levels, they know when to expect your delivery. They're comfortable with so many aspects of a shopping experience, which is why it's important to hold back your loyal customers. Secondly, if you look at customers who are not satisfied, why this is important again is, let's also look at the flip side. 13% of them will tell 15 or more people that they are unhappy. And on the contrary, if they have had a positive experience, I think it's 72% said they would share this with 6 or more people. So the advantages are much higher, heavier, as compared to a customer who has been dissatisfied. And I mentioned earlier that getting back a customer would cost us 3 to 5 times more than to retain the customer. We already spoke about personalized experiences. With the cutthroat competition that exists in the e-commerce business today, this is now a requirement. I would say personalized experience is a mandatory thing for any e-commerce business, because 86% of customers say personalization plays an important role in their buying decision. You see, this was existing in offline as well. Probably your family or my family, when we go to the hypermarkets for grocery shopping, visualize, just imagine suddenly if they have changed the layout and the things are not kept in the right places, there is a lot of discomfort. You seem to it that it's lost. There might be boards which are kept clearly, but you feel a little, some sort of an irritation as to where have the products gone, why they have moved things. The same thing is applicable online as well. The moment you change something, this information should be made available, because the navigation of a customer on your website has to be very smooth, especially if it's a repeat customer. He knows exactly what to go, where to go, how to navigate. And 87% of the shoppers say that when an online stores personalize the shopping experience, they are driven to buy more. Now, that's a huge number. If you're personalizing a shopping, imagine you receiving an email. Dear Lijo, we miss you. We saw that this is what you purchased on this date, and I believe that you would need your Pampers for your kids by next week.
Yeah.
You see, now this is something like, for a minute, a customer thinks, wow, this is good. Here is a website which tells me that you bought Pampers and this is going to get over. And 3 days before the Pampers get over, you receive an email stating this is the offer which we have personalized for you. Now, what happens? Every customer buys it at the normal price, but here I have got you back and I've given you a special price. So you see, I may not be giving that price across to everyone, but because to bring you back, I have given you a special offer, and you would always cherish that experience and you will come back. The next time when you come, you may not look at the price, Lijo. So this is just one example of how personalization can help you. Email chains with customized discount, I just mentioned to you. Give them a personalized shopping recommendation. You can develop, it helps you to develop some flexible and dynamic pricing based on the customer's demand and competition pricing. A 1% increase in prices sometimes translates to almost 8.7% increase in your profits. And of course, targeted ads on social media network. I think we've talked, everyone knows about it. If you're doing an ad on Facebook or Google, you have the option of doing it within a specific region, targeting based on customer demographics. You can measure it, what is the cost of acquisition. You can see what is the click-through ratio. You might decide, you have the option of deciding your budget, how much you want to spend per day or for the campaign. All the possible options have been made available. A lot of algorithms has been put into it by Facebook. Why reinvent the wheel? Somebody has done the thinking for you and they have given you a platform and they have been at it ages back. So here is a ready-made platform given to you. Learn how to use it and get on with it. You might move much faster than many other competition. Yeah. You can create customer groups actually on the website for like-minded people can be grouped together and it can be termed as your best customers or your VIP customers, make some exclusive products for them. So this is all possible if you have the data analysis being done on your website. There are different ways how you can do these data analysis. It could be descriptive, it could be prescriptive, or it could be predictive. Yeah, descriptive probably means what happened, and prescriptive can be how to make it happen, and predictive is what will happen. If you can apply all these things, in conclusion, I would say that the data is a perfect e-commerce tool for analyzing your business. It helps you make some very important business predictions. Understand all the possible outcomes, I would say. Analyze the trends and understand the customer behavior. Yeah. It's a technology that can help you to boost your sales and revenue. And the best part is there is no need to worry about its implementation cost because it is much more profitable. I can assure you this, it is much more profitable than spending the budget on some minor and temporary solutions. In fact, it's a guarantee always that you'll be in trend and you'll be up to the real-time situations which demand a fast business reply. Modern customers, I mentioned some time back that modern customers demand modern solutions, and big data actually, the data analysis gives you all these things. So having said that, I would say the list can just go on and on, Lijo, but due to time, I think we'll have to restrict ourselves to a few things. But as you go deeper, data is something we can sit and discuss here till the cows come back home.
Absolutely, yeah. It's more important to understand that what is the data you're going to use for. And a lot of the times people are so much focused on making sure that the data is used for consumer acquisition that they're not looking at using the data. How do I use data for lifetime value and retention? It's like a full cycle, which the retention and the lifetime value churns in more awareness and it brings in more consumers and customers. And I've seen a lot of e-commerce clients who are so focused on the top of the funnel that they don't look at making loyal fans. And it's a good suggestion that you can make groups of like-minded people who would eventually become loyal fan followers, who's going to make the brand noise out there because of the experiences that they had. And I think and it's free, right? Forming all of those groups and getting acting on it's free of cost. So that's a very good suggestions. So for somebody who's just starting off, and this is the final question before we end this thing, is on an e-commerce journey now. Now you've made those transitions like from offline to online. What do you think are the couple of things that you should keep in mind, putting all of this thing together? Like these are 2-3 things I should always be aware of.
This is again, I think I love the way you ask me those questions. You sum it up into a very small question, but you put so much into all the questions of yours. And this is lovely. Let me see if I can answer this. When you're looking at, see, you just mentioned just now, that the investments that you do and it takes some time. People actually, what we miss out is we've done these things offline. When you open a new store offline, you might give a newspaper ad. Yeah.
Right.
And you take great satisfaction in when you see that ad, but you never measure what was the ROI on that ad. Because somewhere at the back of your mind, over a period of time, you've realized it that an ad which is released today in the newspaper might not give you the results today. It is a series of other events that you need to do to get results, and it would take time. We are all aware about this. And so nobody will just give one ad in a newspaper or put up a billboarding and just relax. They will do various other activities because they know it might take you a series of activities, 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months to get some results. Now let's flip this into an e-commerce situation. I start doing, let's say, some ads on Facebook ads or Google display search ads. Yeah. 1 week down the line, I expect results. Oh, I've spent so much money. Because, and the reason being, the reports are made available to you. The click-through ratio, the cost of acquisition, the conversion rate, cost per click, all this data Facebook has given you. So when you throw all this data into the e-commerce business owner's space or the marketing manager's face, you, wow, I've spent so much money and all these results are zero. Hey, hang on. There is a proper process. Yeah, you need to do ads to create an awareness. You need to build the trust factor. You need to build the reliability factor on your website. There are options of doing A/B testing, and give it time, and it will come through. As long as you have got the basics right on your website in terms of the website structure optimization, WSO as we say, some basic things like clickable phone number or email address on the first page, multiple contact forms on the first page, especially in the Middle East or in the UAE, I would say a chat and a WhatsApp option goes a big way in improving your Google rating. Don't get me wrong, this is not the only thing which is applicable. Your offers and promotions show how much time has been spent there. The speed of the website, there are tools which you can measure the speed of the website. Is it mobile optimized? Are the store operating hours mentioned there? Are the social media plugins in place, especially the Facebook pixels and stuff like that? Multiple menu for long page sites. So if you have organized these things in a proper manner on your website and you've taken great care to provide the necessary information to your clients, if you believe in it, have the patience, and things will definitely fall in place for you. Yeah. I have not mentioned other important analysis like the market basket analysis, the warranty analytics, the price optimization, the inventory management. All these points actually play an important role to overall tell you where your standing would be. Yeah. Yes, these are changing times. These are tough times, but people who hold on to it, I think, will eventually survive because it's survival of the fittest. Yeah. And sorry, you said something?
No, please go ahead.
Yeah. But there could be big differences between data science, there is machine learning, there is artificial intelligence that we speak of. When you combine all these things together, I think the results that you get is completely different. It can go on and on. For example, I was just looking at some data yesterday and I came across things like when you're talking of the customer experience when they come onto your website again, there are 5 elements which I think 4 or 5 elements which one needs to look at. Augmented reality is big today. We talk of CMS, which is a content management system. There is a CRM available, which has to be driven through software. The CRO, which is conversion rate optimization, and of course, call to action. So when you speak of all these things, augmented reality actually enables e-commerce companies to create a more immersive customer experience. We mentioned about customer experience. It also lets them have interactions with their brand more personal. When you get into content management system, it allows you to create, add, edit, or do all these contents to your website without actually getting into complicated coding. So most CMS solutions have this drag and drop functionality, which can be customizable depending on the page templates that you have. Of course, going in for a customer relationship management software, we all know how important it is, because basic customer details like contact information, demographics, purchase history, all this includes the specific information of the shopping behavior, interest, and shipping preferences. All these can be captured if you have a proper customer relation CRM software. And the conversion rate optimization in online is usually just a purchase, but conversions can be other actions as well, such as signing up for your newsletter, downloading your app. The conversion rate optimization is, I think, a set of tactics which e-commerce companies use to improve the overall ratio of the visit to their sites and the conversion. So the goal of the CRO is generally to reduce the time between a shopper hits your site and when they complete a desired action. Now, the desired action here is something which you can decide. It may not be necessarily most of the times that you take the customer to your thank you page, which is after the payment gateway, the sales has been made. No, it could be about so many other call to actions which one can decide based on the business priorities. But simplification of the navigation menu, streamlining your checkout, and designing product pages with detailed descriptions and good quality images. All these play an important part. It's like A to Z, and you cannot ignore anything because you do not know which customer goes where. Now, that's the trick on the e-commerce website. In a store layout, you generally know a far end of the corner of the store, nobody goes. So generally, you tend to take it a little easy there. But in an e-commerce website, you can never do that because you're bringing in customers. There are 10 different entry points. The exit also is not just one. The customer could exit from anywhere. So every time from the moment the customer enters till the time the customer exits, you have to make sure that every point is well addressed. At the same time, every action of the customer is also tracked beautifully and it comes back to you in a proper structured data format through machine learnings and other softwares that you have, which will actually throw some action points that you need to do on your website. Yes. Yeah, it's a pretty long one, I guess.
No, it's quite interesting because I think in summary, what we'll say is that make sure that you have conversion rate optimization by looking at the data, make sure you have systems and processes, looking at getting into details of every element because consumers can go, there is no hiding in anywhere on the site to increase your conversions. And more importantly, from a mental point, have patience. And I think
absolutely.
All this comes together because it's learning. There is no silver bullet through which you can solve the problem or you will have sales on day one. So you keep evolving, keep changing, making sure that the happy journey that the consumer has on your website is not what you started off, may not have what you started off with, but it may end up where you want them to be. So I guess I feel it's amazing tips for somebody who's starting on the journey. It's a long haul. It's not a short. There is no shortcut to this, and you may have to keep looking and pivoting if need be. So this is amazing tips, Shibu. Thanks a lot for this. Thanks a lot for coming onto my show. It is amazing. It was quite interesting, quite a lot of value I found personally, which I'm going to use for some of my clients myself. But yeah, thank you so much for all of this.
Thank you, Lijo. The pleasure was all mine. And I love the thing that you just mentioned to sum it up, patience. I think this is something which we all lacked. But in the last 3 years, this is one good thing that the pandemic has at least taught me. And I'm sure many would agree with me that patience is the name of the game. Knee-jerk reactions won't take us anywhere. You need to have patience. You need to believe in what you're doing. Take a step back, go back to the drawing table, look at the things, reinvent yourself, and you will see that we can have a great time as we move along.
Thank you
Yep.
so much.
Thank you, Lijo. Thank you so much. You take care and God bless.
Take care. Bye.